Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hello, Fearless Freedom family. So I have a very interesting episode for you today. It's actually going to have a reflection on two of the popular episodes from 2019. And the first one is with the amazing and extraordinary international scholar, Dr. Dawn Becker. She shares about her story, about how she ended up leaving her country and traveling to a completely different country to get her education and all the adventures that ensued. And she also shares about how she did not let fear stop her from dreaming big and knowing that she can accomplish some incredible goals. And so that is her episode, and that was an episode that aired on March 4th of last year, and it is episode number 14. So the other episode that you're going to hear an excerpt from is an episode that was a solo episode where I talked about tips on how to punch fear in the face, and that episode aired on May 19th of last year. That is episode number 24. So in this one, I talk about what it was like to enter college at age 16 and then to have my whole identity rocked by one simple decision that went awry and caused some complications in my academic record. So definitely take a listen to this story. It is one that is full of lessons about failure, about fear, and about how lessons can be learned from failing forward fast. And as sooner we learn this, is actually the better, because we'll see some amazing fruit, amazing growth as a consequence. So there are some amazing parallels between my life and Dr. Becker's life, because both of us at early ages made some transitions that were major and then also learned great lessons from these transitions, and as a result ended up in a very successful space in the end. So definitely take a listen to that. I'm super excited that you're here. Thank you again for all of the love that you shared with the Fearless Freedom Tribe here the last year. You made this show an amazing success. We, broke the barrier of the 6,000 download mark, and we are very close to hitting 7,000 downloads. So I am super excited for everyone who shared, who subscribed, who commented on the show, because the more people that can hear this and benefit from it, the better. The other thing that I wanted to be completely upfront, transparent with you guys about is that I am tackling yet another fear. This fear is the fear of not having a successful project. And that project that I'm referring to is I am attempting to do my very first course, and the course is going to be a podcasting 101 course for professional women. And so if you have been in a situation, or if you've contemplated whether you have an idea or whether your idea is worthy of a podcast, or you weren't sure, you have the idea and you want to do a podcast but you're not sure how to do it, this is going to be an amazing opportunity for you and I to get together and for us to put together your construct for your show, to get you to the point where you have everything that you need in order to launch your show, including at the end of the course 5 episodes already recorded and then 5 more episodes drafted and in the pipeline. So if this is something that you've always wanted to do, that you maybe have on your resolution list, then you should definitely take this course. Now, this is going to be a beta course, so there are some advantages to that. One advantage is that you're going to be able to make significant impact on how the course is going to be from here on out. So your feedback is going to make all the difference. I know I am always excited to take beta courses because, not only are they at a lower price than what the regular one is going to be, but you also have an opportunity to really make an impact on how the course turns out and how it is for future participants. So that always makes me excited because I love getting in on the ground level of projects and activities, because you can just really see tremendous growth when you do something like that. But so I'm nervous, right, guys? I'm just going to let you know up front, I am nervous. I'm nervous about the course. I am nervous that maybe no one will come and take the course. I'm nervous that, we're not going to be able to do what we need to do. But I'm not going to let that fear of things not working out stop me from doing this. So I am going to be doing a webinar on the 15th, January 15th, and I'm going to be talking about the course, which will be released on the week of January 20th. So if you know anyone who is interested in something like this, definitely have them contact me, because I would love to have them either in the beta course or at least on the waiting list for the next one, because I definitely want to share this media with as many professional women as possible. And I definitely want to have us hear our voices heard, have our voices be heard, and so that our tribes can definitely be able to get all of the awesomeness that we have to offer. So that is what I want to share. I want to let you guys know about my newest fear. And I also want to let you guys know that the podcast course is coming the week of January 20th. And that the webinar is going to take place on January 15th. And if you are a woman who has a magnificent idea, you have something that you want to share with your clients, your patients, whomever, definitely podcasting can make that happen for you. So definitely get in contact with me.
My name is Dawn Winnie Becker, Dr. Becker. I am an infectious disease specialist practicing in Florida. And my story actually begins, let's begin in Nairobi, in
Sounds
Nairobi,
good.
Kenya, where I was born and raised there. I had one brother, and I was a pretty good student. Both my parents were, teachers, and so you can imagine the discipline in the house was pretty strict. I ended up going to a high school for girls, a boarding school, which had nuns as the leaders, and we had school uniforms and regular class. So responsibility was taught to me at a pretty early age, and after I finished high school, I knew that I wanted to do medicine. However, I was called to do commerce, what you call Bachelor of Commerce at the University of Nairobi. And I had two options, either do BCom, as we call it, or go to another university that is outside town and enroll to a parallel program in medicine. At the same time, I had a friend who was an au pair in Germany. And when she was there, she said, "Hey, I'm applying to med school here." So as a clique, me and three other girls, we applied for med school.
That's some very positive peer pressure there. Very positive.
And I mean, I did know some German. I had some German in high school. And after high school, I went to the Goethe Institute in Nairobi, where I was intensifying German as a language. And so I applied, and I totally forgot about that. So my plan was, I was going to do, or rather what ended up happening, I was going to do BCom, Bachelor of Commerce, and parallel evening classes of CPA at a private college in Nairobi. Yeah. When one day there's this watchman at the gate of the estate where we used to live. He gives me a very dirty envelope and says, "Winnie, is your name Dawn?" And then on there is my name, Dawn Munyoki, really Maddie. And it looks like my dad got this letter a couple of weeks before, or even months, I'm not so sure. And he must have dropped it. And because it was all in German, he probably didn't even know what this letter was about, right? And so that was a letter inviting me to do the test that would make me, start my medicine studies in Germany. And just like that, I was rushing against a deadline. I got the visa on a Friday. I was flying Friday night,
Wow.
arriving on Saturday, and I was sitting for the test on a Tuesday. So everything just
Oh my
kind of,
goodness. What a whirlwind.
and that is how, that's how I ended up not studying BCom and studying medicine in Germany.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is something else. Oh my goodness. It's almost like, like your destiny was it was definitely for medicine. I mean, just to think of that, like, what if he hadn't picked up the envelope? What if he hadn't asked you about it? Your life would be completely different. That's awesome. That's so awesome. So how was it? Like, how did you, so now you're literally, you're trying to beat the clock because, this is something that you could have been preparing for or, getting ready for had you had the information sooner. And so you're rushing out, you're getting there, you're coming to a completely different country. You may or may not be feeling comfortable with the language because there's a little bit of background, but it's not, it's not like it's one of the tongues that's spoken in your home. And so now you're in a foreign country, you're taking this pivotal exam that could be completely life-changing, and you have no idea like what the result's going to be. So how long did it take before you actually found out that you got accepted into the program?
So I think it was a matter of I want to say less than 2 months.
Okay.
If I can recall. Yeah, it must have been less than 2 months. And somehow I was just, I would just tell my parents what I need. I need this to go to the embassy. And it was almost, I didn't feel any resistance, by the way. In fact, that Friday I was flying out. We were having the farewell party at our house. And people were so surprised that I walk in and say, I got the visa. And they're like, wait a minute.
How did you get a visa so quickly? I mean, it's so amazing, like how the stars align for everything to happen.
Yeah. No, in fact, they were like, wait, you're flying out tonight. Basically, I booked the flight, everything, even before I got the visa. That's kind of just how, I don't know, I didn't have any doubt at that point because the exam is on Tuesday. If I don't get the visa on Friday, then I wouldn't be able to, start that semester. And I knew if that wasn't going to work, I already had my BCom plan. So that was definitely very pivotal for me at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so did you end up staying once you took the exam and you had that 2-month gap? Did you just stay in Germany for 2 months or did you come back home?
I must have misunderstood the question. So after the exam, it's basically, first test is to test your proficiency in German.
Okay.
And I aced it.
Oh, good for you, girl. I had thought nothing less of that. I figured that was going to be the case anyway.
And then what happens is, so it's called Studienkolleg, which basically in English would translate to pre-university. So basically, I went to the University of Cologne, where they have a program for foreign graduates to kind of learn having German as the language of instruction. So basically, the first year of pre-med, if you want to call it that, was biochemistry, physiology, all these things, but this time in German.
Wow.
And that was a really wonderful time. Not only is Cologne a vibrant city with many cultures, as you can imagine, we had all these students from all over the world, Brazil, India, Poland, you name it, and they're all doing different courses because not everyone is going to do medicine. You have people who are on a technical track and others who are going into the arts. It was just wonderful. We'd have all these cultural events. I just got to meet wonderful, wonderful people. And being 19 at that time, I just kind of think of having, a better way to have spent those early years in Germany. Following that 1 year, you then apply to different universities. And I thought I was going to stay in Cologne. And then I remember a few months before, I had gone to visit a friend in Heidelberg and we went out partying. So when I got the letter from Heidelberg, I just remembered about how cool that party was. And that's basically, yes.
Oh yeah, that's how you make your decision. It was a cool party. I'm going to go there.
Right. And then it turns out Heidelberg is like the university, right, to study medicine. I mean, I knew
it was
the But really, when I was deciding to go there, it was more like I have a friend there and we'll have good times. And so that's how I ended up moving from Cologne to Heidelberg. And that is also one moment where I'm glad that it worked out. And I
Wow.
managed to move to Heidelberg and fall in love with the city. There's a saying that Heidelberg, or there's a song which says Heidelberg, where I lost my heart. And truly, most people who visit Heidelberg kind of feel like a piece of their heart remains there. Yeah.
Wow. Did not know. That's pretty cool. A time when I failed. Let's see. Which one? Because there's so many. Okay. I would say my very first failure was in the form of so I was very blessed because when I was a teenager, I was able to graduate from high school at the age of 16. So I was able to start college at that time. So I was used to in high school getting phenomenal grades. Like I was always on the honor roll, always on the top 50 in the school, always getting all of the accolades that came along with being a good student, took all of the advanced study classes, and was very engaged in the community of high school and got what I look back and say was my money's worth. I mean, I went to public school, but I'm just saying, like, if I were to pay big money for high school, I got my money's worth. And so the time came for me to go to college, my expectation was that I would go to college and I would perform in the same exemplary fashion as I did when I was in high school. So I went to a college, big up to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which is my alma mater. And it is a engineering school. It's a technical college. It is very rigorous, and the coursework is by no means a cakewalk. And the funny thing about that was I thought it was completely normal to have a course load as a freshman of, I think I took calculus, biology, chemistry, physics, and computer science. So I had, a full course load with these classes. And I was so excited to be a part of this new experience, to be part of this community, to be able to learn and grow and have new adventures by going to school. And so I studied. If I was ever in a situation where I was going to get a B, I would go to the professor and I would ask for help. I got tutors. I did all the things that one needs to do in order to crush the grade situation, given a rigorous environment and a transition point from high school to college. So I did all the things, and it was my first semester, and it came time for finals. And so I was so nervous about my final exams. I thought, man, I need to make sure that I secure these grades, make sure that I don't do anything to mess it up. And the finals, they weren't easy by any means. And so I was shooting for a 4.0, but I was very cognizant that I may not necessarily hit that mark, but that was the goal. Okay, so I went into several of my finals with an A, and basically had to just get a passing grade in order to preserve that. But my chemistry class, I was really at a B and really needed to do well in order to maintain the B and perhaps get close to an A. So that week, the finals were back to back. And so I literally just was so amped during that time that I thought it was a good idea. Now, again, I remember I told you I was mature, but I was still 16. And so I thought it was a great idea to take a stimulant. So, I forget what it was back then. I don't know if it was NoDoz or Stay Awakes or whatever. Anyway, I decided that I was going to take these stimulants so that I would just stay up and I would just be able to go through everything over and over and over and over again so that I could crush these exams. So everything went well. My calculus final, I took all of them. The last final was on the last day of finals week, and that was my chemistry final. And that was the one, remember I said that I needed to make sure that I got a decent grade in order to preserve the B and perhaps even get close to getting an A. So I go into the final and I'm doing the final, and then it happens. Literally, I fell asleep on the final. The next thing that I remember was the proctor saying that time was up and that I needed to hand in my paper. I had an anxiety attack. I was so stressed. What was going to happen? Oh my goodness. I just failed a class. This is insane. I've never failed a class. So I get my results back, and lo and behold, I got A's in everything else except for chemistry. I got a big, fat C. I was not used to that. I was devastated. It was a complete failure in my eyes. What was going to happen? I had not gotten into medical school yet. This is my first semester, my first year. How would I get into medical school with a C in chemistry? Is that even a thing? So, of course, looking back, I know that there was a lesson to be learned from that experience, from that failure. And the lesson that I learned, and unbelievably, I did learn it. Didn't realize at the time, but I learned to not do that thing where you stay up all week trying to get through all your final exams with minimal amount of sleep, thinking that you can rehash everything in a short span of time when you had been studying all semester. So I learned to pace myself over the semester, and that occurrence never happened again. So when we look at failure, it's really all about our perspective. I wasn't embracing failure at that time in my life because I didn't realize that that was something that I should be doing. But I did learn a lesson from it. So now, as I look back and I'm much more wise, I can say that, for every failure that I currently have, and I do have failures very frequently, I look at them as learning experiences. Just like I learned back so many years ago, because I'm 44 now, so this was many years ago, that, when you fall on your face, doesn't mean it's over. You just got to get up and you got to look at the situation and you say, what can you learn from this? Thank you for joining us today on this journey. Fear is all around us. It strives to stop us from achieving our greatness. We have the tools to be overcomers. By sharing our stories, supporting each other, and doing self-reflection, we can do this. If you found value in this conversation today, please be sure to subscribe to and share this podcast with your friends. By going to your favorite podcast platform, leaving a review and a 5-star rating, you will help to get the word out about it. And that is much appreciated. Thanks again for spending time with us. I appreciate your time and your attention. It is my hope that you will punch fear in the face today and that you will be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.